Good morning. Welcome into the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. You know I love getting your day started off on the right foot. And to help with that, I use an inspiring quote. This one hits just a little bit differently today. To know you have enough is to be rich. Wow. You ever thought of it like that before? I know in this crazy world, it's like everybody's striving to have more. You got to get the biggest and the best toys. You got to have the nice house. You got to be able to afford the fancy dream vacation, all the other things. But really, when it comes down to it, when it all boils down, to know you have enough is to be rich. And guess what? You do. You have enough. You are enough. And I want to remind you of a scripture, Philippians 4:19. And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. That's right. He's making sure that you are taken care of, so you have enough. That way you don't have to worry, right? You ever found yourself worrying about stuff like that before, whether it was, I don't know, money for rent, or maybe it was money for the electric bill? Yeah, been in a hard spot before too. I know how it feels, but somehow he always seems to work things out, and I'm thankful for that. So it reminds me that, hey, I don't need to get so stressed out and so anxious about money when he promises me he's gonna take care of me. So I want you to remember that today, all right? And just feel this today. I'm gonna read it one more time. To know you have enough is to be rich. Wow. Let that put a smile on your face. Let that make you feel a little more thankful for all that God has put in your life. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Here's Hillsong Worship with What a Beautiful Name. So let's talk about the hypotheticals for just a minute. Because sure, there's planning and what you think might be coming down the road, but then, you can really dig a little deeper than that and get yourself into a little bit of trouble because you start kind of thinking up, how's this conversation going to go? And so if they say this, then what do I need to say? And you keep going down that rabbit hole until finally you're just so frustrated with the whole situation. Anyway, well, I came across this guy. His name is Matthias, and he's over on TikTok, and he shares a lot of great advice on how to handle life. Yeah, this guy is like a therapist. He helps people get through their stuff, and this is a really neat way of looking at this. If you've ever tried to run through those hypothetical situations before, then you'll know that this is true. Take a listen.
Arguing with someone in your head actually makes you less prepared to have a conversation with them. Here's why. The math is really just not in your favor. Like, you might think that I know the situation, I know them really well, I know what they'll say, but in reality, let's say that they have, 5 different potential responses to your initial statement, right? And so you're trying to think of comebacks to the different things that they might say, and then they could have 5 different responses to each of those comebacks. And so then you're doing the math. It's like, you're at 125 different potential conversations that you're holding in your mind at the same time. You're not even 1 minute into the conversation. Yeah, that's not possible. Like, you're not doing mental chess. You're making assumptions about what you think they're going to say, and then you're getting angry and frustrated at them for things they haven't even said yet. That's not preparing for a conversation. That's just brooding, and that stress is going to run through your body. It'll make you less prepared to actually have a productive conversation.
What do you think about that? His name is Matthias J. Barker. You can find him over on TikTok. He's a psychotherapist out of Nashville, Tennessee. I thought it was pretty constructive stuff. Growing up, I knew that if I was sick, I could go and stay with my granny. And I knew if I stayed at Granny's house, she was going to feed me good, and I was going to be able to watch some TV. And one of those shows I loved to watch when I was sick on a weekday, well, that was The Price is Right. And of course, Bob Barker was the host for years and years. And I know you've heard the sad news that he's passed away. He lived 99 years old. I heard somebody talk about this on social media and say he got as close as he could without going over. I thought, whoa, that is true Bob Barker fashion right there. And I know that he won the Showcase Showdown, right? But hey, coming up, I want to tell you about what they are planning to commemorate him. Well, to really celebrate his life. All right, stick around and I'll tell you all about it right here on the Lifeline Morning Show on your 88.5 JFM, making your day better. I just want to remind you of what he sounded like doing his thing. Here he is on The Price is Right.
$28,897. Now over to Jose. Jose, you bid $60,000 on your showcase. Actual retail price of Jose showcase, $20,685. You win, Dave.
Yes, it was always down to the showcase showdown, right? When somebody would win, and then those famous words when he would remind us all to spay or neuter our pets. And I saw somebody post a video. It was with some sad music and said, "You've got to remember, because he's not here to remind us anymore. You've got to spay and neuter your pets." I'm all in my feels about this whole Bob Barker thing. And you know what? I'm not alone. There are a lot of people who really loved that man, so much so that they are going to have a tribute to him tonight at 7 o'clock on CBS. Yep, guess who is going to head it up? None other than the man who took over his hosting responsibilities on The Price is Right, Drew Carey. So, yep, it's going to happen tonight, 7 o'clock on CBS. Also, they're going to have it streaming over on Paramount Plus. So I just wanted to make sure you knew about that. Quite a few years of hosting that show. My favorite game from The Price is Right has to be Plinko. There's just something about the way that thing comes down the pegs. All right, back to the music that you love. Just wanted to make sure you knew how to tune in. CBS tonight, 7 o'clock, the Bob Barker tribute.
What was funny with Scout is he's a jailbreaker. He can open doors and get out of fences. He's a very intelligent dog.
Very intelligent dog, and he kept going to the same place when he kept breaking out from the local animal shelter. And so quite a few things have transpired since then. Let's just say that Scout is loved. He's found his forever home, and you've got to hear his story. Coming up next, there's something about that waggly tail and how excited they get when you get home, right? Yesterday, I was mowing my yard and I looked across, and my neighbor's yard, in the back fence, there was Duke. And I noticed Duke was getting kind of excited. What was going on with him? Well, Jana, my neighbor, had just gotten home and he was so happy. Oh, and when we had Max, he would do that too. He would be waiting on us whenever we got to the door. In fact, lots of times we'd come up to the door and knock before we unlocked it, and he would start howling because he was so excited. Well, hey, I got a story for you about another dog named Scout. And Scout, well, he's a little mischievous. He escaped from the animal shelter not once, not twice, but 3 times a lady. Yeah, he did. And he kept going to the same place.
I don't know why he chose us.
That's Marna Robertson. She is the administrator at Meadowbrook Medical Care Facility. That's where Scout keeps going. Yeah. And she figured, since he's here anyway, let's see what we can do. Maybe I'll talk with everybody and see if we should adopt him. And that's exactly what they did. So Scout has been a staple of this facility for a few years now.
He just brings love and he brings normalcy. You know, when you come into a facility, right, you have a lot of loss. And one of the losses when people have to leave their homes is pets. So it really helps the residents. It creates a sense of home.
He knows all the residents. He knows who belongs, who doesn't belong.
Yes, he does.
And he protects the household.
He knows when people are sick or, not doing well, and he will go in and lay with them and give them comfort. It's like a sixth sense that he has.
And that sixth sense has gotten a lot of attention because all the residents love Scout. So they wanted to hold a little bit of a fundraiser in Scout's honor to get dog toys and treats to pass along to the local animal shelter, the same one that he kept escaping from. It's a pretty cool full circle moment there, and I just had to share it with you because pets bring us so much happiness, And Scout, well, he's a good boy. Now say it with me in 3, 2, 1. Give me the horn! That's right. Now let's go ahead and crank that engine. Hey, crank it. Thank you very much. And now let's see if we can start this music so I can say, hey everybody, it's time to play the Carline competition. Your chance to win some gift cards this morning. One to Wendy's, one to Albertville Home Bakery, yeah, and one to the Caring Heart Thrift Store in Arab. So, you gotta be able to answer a question for me, and here it is, in the Bible, who parted the Red Sea? Was it Joseph, Noah, Jesus, or Moses? Don't get me wrong, I know God did it, but who did he use to do it? Was it Joseph, Noah, Jesus, or Moses? 256-505-0885. I've got my caller. Stay on the phone line with me while I start this next song. Here's Tasha Layton and Never. Okay, I can't stand it anymore. I got to go ahead and play it. So here we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Good. Who am I talking with?
Susan Maddox.
All right, Susan Maddox. I got this question here. I don't know how well versed you are with that Bible of yours. You ever read through that thing before?
Not all the way, but a lot of it.
Awesome.
I'm working my way through.
Very cool. Yeah. So, there's a question I've got. And if you can land this, you've got 3 gift cards headed your way. In the Bible, who parted the Red Sea? Was it Joseph, Noah, Jesus, or Moses?
Moses.
Exactly right. Congratulations to you. You just won 3 gift cards, 1 to keep, 2 to give away. Can you tell me about those 2 very special people? They're going to be getting a gift card from you.
Yes, I will probably give them to my kids.
Aw, tell me about them.
To my son and my daughter. I have a 7th grader and a 9th grader.
Oh, cool.
And they've been working hard at school and band and choir and just having a good time in school.
So what are their names?
Joshua and Leah Grace.
Very cool. Tell me something special about each one of them.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah, well, I can tell you that they both love the Lord and they both love doing things for other people and helping. And my Leah Grace, she helps with our children at church a lot.
Cool.
So.
Very nice. Well, what school do they go to?
Albertville Middle School and Albertville High School.
Nice. And what church do y'all go to?
Solitude Baptist.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you for sharing the love here on the radio. And I've got to ask one more question. You said band. What instrument?
My daughter is learning how to play the drums.
Nice.
And my son plays the trombone.
Very cool. Well, I'm a drummer too, so I know your daughter's going to have a blast with that. It's a lot of fun. Now, she's probably going to drive you nuts, though, because she's going to be tapping on everything.
Well, my husband is a drummer, too, and he plays the drums at church, so it's all good.
Oh.
We're used to it.
I got you. Well, you're definitely a cool mom. My mom, she said as long as I kept my bedroom door closed, I could practice as much as I wanted to. I don't know how she got through that because I was nuts on those drums. It was crazy.
Well, that makes it all fun, though.
It does. It does. Susan Maddox, thanks again for calling me, and I wish you kids a lot of happiness on those instruments, the slide trombone and those drums. Yeah, it's going to be a blast. All right, so just gave away 3 gift cards. I got some more to give away, so we might as well go ahead and ask another question. Let's do this thing. Now, this one you've really got to think about, okay? Here it is. Which of the following is the greatest weight? Is it A, 1 kilogram, B, 1.5 pounds, C, 1,000 grams, or D, 38 ounces? 256-505-0885 is the number to call. I can already see those parents. They're stressing out, getting on their phone and typing in and asking Google which one weighs more. This is always so much fun. Which of the following is the greatest weight? Is it A, 1 kilogram, B, 1.5 pounds, C, 1,000 grams, or D, 38 ounces? 256-505-0885 is the number to call. And the only hint I'll give you is small is mighty. Okay? All right. Here's Rachel Lampa with Somebody to You. My phone's still not lighting up. 256-505-0885 is a number to call. That warm up out there is slow as molasses, and I'm so happy it is because it's feeling fabulous out there, looking gorgeous too. Blue skies, sunshine, green leaves. You can't ask for more, right? It's the perfect day. Right now it's 63 degrees in Arab, it's 62 in Boaz, and 64 in Huntsville. Your forecast is brought to you by Green Contracting LLC, making your dream home a reality. Their phone number is 256-302-0644. Your word of life today comes to you from Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1 in the New Living Translation of the Bible. Imitate God, therefore, in everything you do because you are his dear children. Yes, you are. You know what? You should share that word of life with somebody today. Yeah, we've got it ready for you across all of our socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And it's always at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. Well, hey, it's been a blast this morning hanging out with you, and we're nowhere near being done yet. In fact, I haven't even played that last car line competition answer yet. So let's get to that right now, shall we? Here, take a listen to how it all went down. I think you're really going to love this. Take a listen. 88.5 JFM, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, doing pretty good.
Good.
I just had to call in because you said your phone wasn't lighting up.
It wasn't.
I figured I'd give you that answer you was looking for.
Well, thank you for lighting it up for me. All right, so here's the question. And this one is really, really hard when you think about it. It's almost a trick question. So which is heavier? Is it A, 1 kilogram, B, 1.5 pounds, C, 1,000 grams, or D, 38 ounces?
It would be the 38 ounces.
That's exactly right. Congratulations. You just won 3 gift cards. Yeah, you know, when you think of ounces, you think of small, right?
Yep.
But you add a whole lot of those small things up, and it gets pretty heavy. Yep. So, hey,
sure can.
You know how this works. You win 3 gift cards. We want you to keep one, give the other 2 away to do very special people. Can you tell me about those 2 people?
Yep. One of them's going to go, of course, to my loving wife of, I think it's, 33 years now.
Wow.
And my son, Jonathan.
Oh, cool. Tell me something special about that guy.
Well, he's about the happiest, go-luckiest, loving young man I know.
Awesome. Wow.
So he's real special to me. Of course, he was, he's my firstborn, and he kind of has, he has seizures, so he's epileptic, but he's just as happy as any person I know.
Wow.
And he loves the Lord, too.
Awesome.
So that's a bonus.
Well, thank you so much for sharing the love here on the radio. It's always, you know, this is the biggest takeaway for me is, of course, I love giving stuff away, but really hearing about who means a lot to you. It's just that point of contact and being able to share that with everybody. There's just something cool about that, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand.
Very cool. All right, so let me make sure I got your address here. Now, I've got you on caller ID as Lewis Hogue.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Have you called in before, Lewis?
Nope, this is my first time calling in.
Wow, thank you so much. How long have you been listening to the station?
5-6 years now.
Oh, wow.
We've been, I don't know, we live in Arab, actually, yeah, so I live in Arab proper now, right on Main Street, but, I mean, we've bounced around the Arab area, and your station's been one of the ones that we listen to. Matter of fact, yours is the only station we listen to unless we're in the car and in Huntsville where we can't reach you.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you for listening. That means
I
a
love
lot.
your morning show, man. It's I really do.
Well, thank you for those.
It's what gets us moving in the morning.
Oh, man, that makes me happy. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, so I don't live too far from you. I live back off of Fry Gap, kind of back behind the meat market.
Yeah, I heard you mentioned a time or two that you and your daughter were bike riding down on Main Street and whatnot. So I live like just before Walmart, so it's up there by that doctor's office.
Okay.
12th Avenue.
Gotcha. All right. Small world, man.
Yes, it is.
All right, Lewis, I'll get these in the mail. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I hope you have a great day.
You as well. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So neat. Lewis, thanks again for calling in, man. So glad to give you those gift cards, and thanks for those kind words. That was a blast. Well, hey, it's so funny. Yesterday, Grace and I were at Walmart. I had to pick up a few odds and ends, and while we're in there, we're perusing the strawberries, and Grace is trying to find a container that has some good ones in it, right? And so she's looking, and she found one that had mold in it. And then as we were looking, there was this lady who walked up, and she was looking at the strawberries too. And I made mention that, you know, sometimes I'm afraid that they let these strawberries freeze before they put them in here. Then they get bad and moldy. And she looked at me. She said, "Oh, I know your voice. I listen to you all the time on the radio." I'm like, well, thank you so much. I love when stuff like that happens. And it's so neat to put a face with a voice. And let me just warn you that lots of times it's not what you think. That face does not look like what the voice looks like. It's weird, right? It's happened to me before too. Such a small world. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. That brings us to the end of the car line competition, but don't worry, your chance to win a family 4-pack to Point Mallard Water Park is coming up at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. But hey, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about between now and then. When you get a hold of something good, you've got to share it with other people, right? Because it's like that light bulb aha moment. And it's like, hey, I never thought of it like that. How cool is this? And you've got to tell somebody else, and then they have that light bulb experience, and then they pass it along, and before you know it, you're sharing all this light with everybody, and it's amazing. Well, I came across this girl over on TikTok. Her name is Sarah Faith, and she had a little something to say, a little good news she wanted to spread. So here, I'll let her do it right here on the radio.
You gotta listen to this thing I just read. Maybe you don't need to find more energy. Maybe you just need to find a dream that makes you actually want to get up in the morning. Maybe you need to find something that gives you back more than it takes. Maybe you need to stop trying to be good at 100 things that do not light up your soul and finally choose the one that does. The one that asks you to risk, to lay your heart bare, to try again, even though you're scared. Even, say it again for the people in the back, even though you're scared, please Jesus. You're not failing because you're not motivated. You're not supposed to get far on a path that was never yours to walk.
Whoa, how profound that was. Goodness. You know, we do try to multitask, don't we? We try to do 100 different things, and we do them okay. But what would happen if we pared it all back and we found that one thing we're really good at, that one thing that makes our heart sing, that one thing that God has equipped us for? Wow, once you find that thing, let me tell you, it's a game changer. Now, will it feel like work? Sometimes it will, but other times it's like, I am so blessed. I am so thankful to be doing what God has called me to do. It is such a fulfilling thing. And I pray that you find that if you haven't already. And if you have, hey, stick with it. God's doing something amazing through you. Keep up the good work. I'm sitting here trying to whittle them down to the top riddle because this morning at 8 o'clock, I'm giving away the final family 4-pack to Point Mallard Water Park, and it's got to be a good riddle for you to win them. So I'm working on some really hard ones here. So I'm hoping that you're ready to riddle me this because it's coming up shortly. Your chance to win a family 4-pack to Point Mallard Water Park is coming up next. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. You know what that means, right? It's my chance to give you an opportunity to win some Point Mallard Water Park passes. This is the last chance, and you've got to riddle me this. Here we go. I don't think you're ready for this. There's some smart person out there who's going to get this the first try. I know it, but how many calls am I going to have to take? Let's see. Here's your riddle. You measure my life in hours, and I serve you by expiring. I'm quick when I'm thin and slow when I'm fat. Strong wind and water are my enemies. What am I? 256-505-0885 is the number to call. I'm going to read it one more time. For a family 4-pack to Point Mallard, answer this. You measure my life in hours, and I serve you by expiring. I'm quick when I'm thin and slow when I'm fat. Strong wind and water are my enemies. What am I? 256-505-0885 is the number to call. I'm waiting on your call right now. This is something you would definitely not take to a water park. That's the only hint I'm giving. 256-505-0885. 88.5 JFM, good morning.
Good morning. Do you have a winner yet?
I don't. You've tried to call in like 3 times, and I keep losing you, so I'm glad I finally got you. How's it going this morning?
It's good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So I got somebody who tried, and they got so close, but they didn't get it. So we'll see what happens here. What's your name?
My name is Angie.
Angie. All right, Angie. Here is the riddle. Riddle me this. You measure my life in hours, and I serve you by expiring. I'm quick when I'm thin and slow when I'm fat. Strong wind and water are my enemies. What am I?
A candle.
Yes! Congratulations to you! That was so good. A family 4-pack to Point Mallard Water Park. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel awesome because we're going Sunday.
Sunday. That's going to be a blast. Who are you taking with you?
My grandbabies.
Aw, tell me about them.
Well, I have two, a boy and a girl, separate parents that
Okay.
are 4.
Nice.
My oldest granddaughter will be 15 in October.
Cool. Wow, that is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of memories to be made on Sunday. Thank you so much for calling in this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course. Last question. Why do you listen to us, Angie?
Because Jesus is alive.
That's awesome. Our call letters, WJIA, where Jesus is alive. Yeah, that's
and I'm always listening for good, upbeat Christian music to use in my Zumba classes.
Zumba?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
I've already got some good Toby Mac and Mandisa.
Yeah?
I use a lot of those in my Zumba classes. And Mercy Me, they're new. I don't guess it's new, but the one, Happy Dance.
Oh, yeah. That's a fun one. So where do you teach Zumba?
I teach for the Huntsville Hospital Wellness Centers as well as classes of my own in different locations here in Huntsville.
Nice. All right.
Oh, yeah. All over the mountain up here.
Cool. Well, I think it's awesome you're using Christian music for Zumba. That is so cool.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
All right, Angie.
Share Jesus anywhere I can, right?
That's right. That's right. Yep. Sharing a light in a really dark place. That's awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, Angie, thanks for calling, and I hope y'all have a blast.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.
How much fun was that? The final family 4-pack of Point Mallard Water Park passes going out to Angie. They're going to have a blast. You know, it's been so much fun giving these away this summer. It's Point Mallard, we've had Lake Winnie, we've had Jaden's Ice Cream all throughout the summer, and it has really, I think, put a lot of smiles on a lot of faces, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. A big thank you to all of them for saying, hey, we'll partner with you. So to Point Mallard, to Lake Winnie, and to Jaden's Ice Cream, thank you so much for your partnership. Hey, you make our lives a little happier around here, so thank you. What a song that'll hype you up on any day of the week, won't it? That's from Kane. I'm so blessed. And, you know, I was reading through the comments there on that particular video, and Kane released that 1 year ago. And it's really touched a lot of people's lives. I was looking through these comments. There are about 121 on here. I just want to talk about a few of them. So Amber Mears Howard says, this is my hype song. My coworkers ask me why I'm always in such a good mood on Monday mornings, and it's this song. And then Savannah Mitchell, she commented and said, same. 88.5 JFM. I need this every day at 7:35, please. Yeah, I think we can hook you up with that. Savannah, thanks for listening. Wendy Tong says, my absolute favorite song. Amy Brown, lovely, beautiful voices. Shelby Prescott, I turned this into my ringtone and I still love it. And there are more people sharing what that song means to them. One in particular decided to share a little video of their 5-year-old granddaughter in the back seat singing along. What does that sound like? Well, let's see if we can play a little bit of it for you. After this, it's Colton Dixon and My Light right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I can't wait to hear this little up-and-coming singer, 5 years old, in the back seat. Hey, that's what this thing is all about. Well, with school back in session, those kids are in the car on their way to school, on their way home, and hopefully you've got it tuned to 88.5 JFM so you can hear songs like that one you just heard from Colton Dixon, or from Kane, like I'm So Blessed. And hey, got a hold of this little piece of video. So this grandma decided to video her 5-year-old granddaughter in the back seat singing along with that last song before that Colton Dixon song, I'm So Blessed, by Kane. And here's what that sounds like. And that's what it's all about. It's music that really lifts you up, that your kids can sing along with, and we are so happy to play it for you right here on 88.5 JFM. Thank you for hanging out with me. Competition. Man, things can get nasty quick, can't they? Because you've got some really competitive people out there. Yeah, some people wanting to talk a little smack, say, hey, I'm better than you are. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. But don't get me wrong, when you're at a sports competition, it's all about having a winner. So you want to see who does it best, right? And some of those top competitions, of course, the Olympics. Well, something recently happened, the 2023 World Athletics Championships. Now, this is, almost up there with the Olympics. So people from all across the world come and compete in this. And I've got a little bit of a story to share with you. Now, when it comes to pole vaulting, that's one of those things. It's like, it seems so cool, but so dangerous at the same time. If you've ever seen anybody land wrong, that pole can go in some very inconspicuous places. And I'm sure that doesn't feel too good while you're falling back down to the earth. Well, there were a couple ladies that were vying for the gold. And what happened really has a lot of people upset. But this athlete decided to go ahead and get on Facebook and explain what exactly happened. So a little backstory here, okay? All right, so these two pole vaulters, they basically tied for gold at the competition. They cleared 4.9 meters and then falling 3 times on their attempts at 4.95 meters. So rather than continue competing to see who would be the sole winner, both women opted to share the world championship title. So Katie Moon, she was one of the gold medal winners. She decided to post this. She said, to say that I've seen mixed reviews about our decision to share the win would be an understatement. While part of me doesn't want to entertain the negative comments, I would like to help enlighten those that are calling us cowards, shameful, pathetic, etc. I know you can't make everyone happy in this world, but in an effort to help people understand the sport that I love so much, I would like to explain my mentality in that moment. The pole vault is not an endurance event. We have a short window of jumps. Once the fatigue sets in, it only becomes more difficult but dangerous. The sport has seen everything from athletes just landing funny with minor tweaks to horrific accidents. We had jumped an entire competition, vaulting for almost 4 hours in 85-degree heat. The competition ended and we were exhausted. A world championship is incredibly emotionally draining, even more so than a regular competition. My step, at the point where I jump off the ground into the takeoff to vault safely, has to be in almost the exact same spot every time, give or take a few inches. My last few jumps, the takeoff step was moving further and further out, giving us real data showing my fatigue, even with adrenaline. To walk away healthy and with a gold medal while celebrating with my friend that had jumped just as well was a no-brainer. Part of the reason we've reached the highest level is by listening to our bodies and knowing our limitations. We decided that in this particular moment, sharing glory was just as good as earning it outright. I understand that people want to see a clear winner. It is the exciting part of the sport. But in this instance, it was without a doubt the right decision and one that I will never regret. Contrary to popular belief, you do not need a win at all cost mindset to have a champion's mentality. And that last little phrase right there is really the takeaway for me. I love that. You don't have to have a win at all cost mentality to have a champion's mentality. Whoa. I think that's awesome. Because how many times do we find ourselves competing with other people in life, at work, even at church? All right? It's like we want to be better than them. My goodness, we've got to lay off a little bit. We've got to relax. It's going to be okay. There's enough room for everybody at the top, you know? And I just love this. I think it's teaching our kids great sportsmanship, and it's teaching us all a life lesson that, hey, we don't always have to win all the time. We can share it, you know? So, hey, that's just what it said to me. I thought I'd share it with you. Again, that's Katie Moon Pole Vault. You can find her over on Facebook and read it for yourself. But she shared that from Budapest, Hungary. How cool is that? It's not all a competition, you know? So what was your favorite thing to play with as a kid? I can remember Lincoln Logs. Those things were a blast. Now, my granny used to tell me stories of playing with marbles. And so she gave me a little set of them with marbles and jacks and all that stuff. And, you know, it was fun for a little while, but it kind of, I don't know, lost my attention. Now, Hot Wheels. Oh, man. Hot Wheels were the bomb, right? Get the track, set it up in the living room just right with a loop-de-loop in it, and watch those cars speed down that track and do the loop-de-loop. But I wonder if you ever played with Legos. Yeah, well, of course, they're still around. And maybe your kids play with Legos now, too. But did you know that Lego has got you as an adult in mind? It came out with a couple of new sets, and I think you're going to get kind of excited about them, especially one for fall. And I'll tell you all about them coming up next. Well, I want to take you back to your childhood for just a minute. Do you remember playing with Legos? Yeah, so much fun, right? Maybe you played with those big Duplo blocks too when you were like really little. I know my daughter loved the bigger blocks, and she likes Legos okay nowadays. Now she's more interested in her iPad more than anything else, playing Roblox and stuff like that. And I get it. Things change, but you know, Lego is still around, and it just so happens that they've got us adults in mind. Yeah, I came across this. I'm like, I've got to talk about this. So, yeah, they have this new botanical collection. I don't know if you've seen this, but man, it looks pretty cool. Now, it's bringing back part of my childhood, too, because of the bonsai that they have available. Mr. Miyagi and the whole deal, right? Yep, the bonsai is just part of their Legos botanical collection. Now, this particular succulent set has 771 pieces. So there you go. It'll look like a bonsai tree when you're all done. They've got some other ones too, but this one might really hit home with you because fall is coming. It seems like everybody's getting, fall in a fall sense of mind because we've got the pumpkin spice lattes already out there. And, everybody just anticipating the next big thing. Well, how about that centerpiece for your Thanksgiving table? Yeah? Well, guess what? Lego's got you with that too. It's an 812-piece set, and it is all about decorating your home. It's the dried flower centerpiece, and it's perfect for your table or for your wall. And it's a really cool way of keeping that fun alive from your childhood. Or you could kind of get your kids, you could challenge them to put it together because it's such an intricate set and it looks so cool that, hey, they could contribute to decorating the house for the fall. So there you go. You can find these Lego sets just about anywhere you can buy Legos. So there's not just a online only kind of thing. So I just wanted to tell you about them, just in case you wanted to decorate your house a little bit with something, you don't have to water. I'm terrible with that. Fear. What exactly is it? Well, I've heard it used as an acronym before. False evidence appearing real. Yeah, lots of times that's exactly what it is because we get so afraid of stuff we're not even sure of. And it turns out that we shouldn't have been afraid of it in the first place because we deal with it and it's like, that's all it was? I was scared about that? It happens so many times. I know. And we're called to not be fearful, right? Because, hey, Jesus said, don't fear. I've already overcome the world. So, got a little something for you about fear and how to handle it. Stick around. I'll let Tony Robbins share it with you. Next, here's Tony Robbins with a little encouragement.
Think about this. What is it that screws up everybody's life? Fear is the number one thing that keeps people from doing what's necessary. And anger and rage, while it can mobilize us, if it becomes part of your life on a regular basis, it destroys it. So how do you balance that out? Well, fear, anger, they're both physical, aren't they? Think about, what do you feel like if you're really afraid? Ever been so afraid that your throat got really dry, or you feel this feeling in your gut? Right? That's physical. Courage is also physical. Again, courage does not mean you're not afraid. Courage means you're afraid, but you do it anyway, right? It's a way of being in your body. And so I really want to recommend developing a simple daily discipline. It's like, I don't negotiate with myself. I tell my brain, I don't go, oh, wait, I'm not ready, or let me count to 10, or maybe I'll do it tomorrow. That pattern of thinking is what destroys most people's lives and their dreams. You can settle for a life like most people have, or you can create your dreams, but to do it, you need to be able to push yourself. So you need to train yourself in little ways.
So here's a little more to get over that feeling of fear and just face it head on. A few scriptures that talk about fear. Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Psalm 23:4. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. Psalm 27:1. The Lord's my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm Psalm 46, 1-3, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. Psalm 118:6, the Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. I can go on and on and on here, but the moral of the story is this. You don't have to be afraid because Christ has already won. And through him, you have victory over everything. Let that sink in for just a second. So you are coming at it from a place of victory. So you have no reason to be afraid. Fear is beneath you. Think about that. That should make you happy. Now, I know it's one thing to say it and another thing to live it. So I challenge you. Live like you're not afraid, because there's no reason to fear. Here's Blessing Offer with Your Love, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show on your 88.5 JFM, making your day better. Saying no. As a parent, you say it a lot. But what would happen if we said yes? Stick around. No. 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 And how many ways can you say no? You can probably say it in different languages too, right? Around here, it's And how many times do you have to say no to your kid? Get tired of saying it, don't you? But what if instead of saying no, you said yes? Could you be a yes parent? Could you have a yes day? Well, it's not quite that. Here, take a listen to how Michelle is handling yes.
If you want to deal with less disciplinary issues with your kids, there's one thing that is very helpful. It's not the only thing, and it's not perfect every time, but one thing that has helped me with my kids and decreasing the amount of issues that we have to deal with, it's saying yes as much as I can. Now, sometimes this is exhausting, but having the ability to creatively say yes, even if it's, yes, you can do that after you've cleaned your room, or some other variation of that. Instead of where I would have said previously no, and that would have made my child feel very frustrated, now it lets them know I've heard them, but that I'm interested in what they're interested in. This is something, though, that did not come first nature, something I had to work on and work into and still am. And it's what we are talking about in our new parenting course. It is called Healing Your Hurting Child, out on plusoneparents.org.
How cool is that? Michelle Donnelly. Now, plusoneparents.org. Pretty cool resource for single parents. I want to read you just a little bit more about Plus One Parents, okay? Because I thought this was so cool. So she does this little thing. She says, "Hi, I'm Michelle. Single parent." That title often carries with it more weight for most people realize. I know you didn't plan for life to be like this, but here you are, doing what you can to make it through each day. Exhausted, isolated, heartbroken, overwhelmed. Each of us has a different backstory, but our desire for something better in the future is the same. And no matter how you got here, we're glad you made it. You belong here. Now, this resource is pretty cool. I'm just perusing the website right now. It's plusoneparents.org, and they've got resources, a blog, a podcast, a whole community page, quizzes, all their contact information, all that stuff. plusoneparents.org. Pretty neat resource. And I'll be following her over on TikTok and bringing you more content from her and from her team, because this is just cool stuff, you know? Good resource. I know it's awful. The Bible says we're not supposed to steal, right? But whenever I see an ice cream truck, the thought might cross my mind, what would I do with all that ice cream? You know? But every day up and down these roads around here, well, there are loads and loads of good stuff going different places. And every now and then, there's a little bit of an accident. That means that all that stuff spills out on the roadway. And maybe it's watermelons. That's what caused us to be like 4 hours late getting home from the beach earlier this summer. Watermelons on the back of a semi-truck on I-65. It was not a fun time. But up in Canada, well, you see, this trucker, he was hauling something a little bit different. Yep, honeybees. Yeah, and all of their hives. Yeah, about 5 million of them to be exact. When this truck overturned, the bees started swarming. It was not a good thing, right? So they had to call in some beekeepers to come out and try to wrangle all these bees, get them together and get them out of there. Well, they did the best they could. They kind of had to stay away from the bees to an extent because they were agitated. Normally, honeybees are pretty amenable. I mean, they're not so bad. Well, they had to leave a few crates behind because, there are a few bees that decided not to go on the rest of the leg of the trip, and I understand that. So they're hoping those bees will get into those hives and then they'll transport them wherever they need to go. But this whole time, I'm thinking about all these honeybees and all this honey. I'm thinking about one cartoon character in particular. You remember him from the 100 Acre Wood? Yeah, here's something to jog your memory.
Oh, yes, I'm rumbly in my tumbly. Time for something sweet. I am short, fat, and proud of that, and so with all my might, I up, down to my appetite's delight. While I up, down, touch the ground, I think of things to chew, like honey and milk and chocolate, with a hefty, happy appetite. I'm a hefty, happy poo.
If I could have a spirit animal, I think Winnie the Pooh would definitely be it. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. It's been a blast hanging out with you. I want to finish it off with this inspiring quote. To know you have enough is to be rich. God's got your back. He's providing all your needs according to his riches and glory. See you back here tomorrow from 6 to 10. Hey, I just wanted to hop on and say thank you for making this podcast part of your day. It really means a lot to me. I'm always trying to make it better. So if you have any suggestions, would you please send me an email? It's Steven, Steven, at 885jfm.com. And I'd love to hear from you. I'm always trying to make it better, and I want to make sure you're getting everything that you want out of this podcast. I hope it's encouraging you, inspiring you, and helping you keep moving forward. Thanks. I enjoy doing life with you.